China can't attack anybody outside of their borders. Get that out of your head. The last war they fought was in 1979 against Vietnam. The last combat they actually saw was 1988, the Johnson Reef Skirmish, meaning their troops have no combat experience whatsoever. They have the same amount of experience with logistics. Example of logistics, the United States military can move 200,000 people across the world within a week without any other military being able to interfere. Then there's the fact that China doesn't make a habit of fighting anyone even near their weight class or above. And the last time they did was against India in 1967, where the Indians won. But what about that country right next to China that begins with a T? That island right here is 100 miles away from China. That part of the world is heavily guarded by the United States Navy and Air Force. But what if China launches an EMP attack that disables American military infrastructure there? Read this paragraph right here. China is highly dependent on the best semiconductors in the world. That island produces 92% of the world's most advanced semiconductors. Reports coming out that the semiconductor manufacturing plants all around the island would be completely destroyed at the beginning of an invasion from China. And where would those semiconductor manufacturers go? The United States. If something like that were to happen, that would set China decades behind the United States. But China's shipmaking is 232 times greater than the United States. That's like telling me their bow and arrow production is 500 times higher than the United States. China can absolutely produce a lot of ships. China has 2 aircraft carriers. One of them used to be a casino, and the second one is a copy of that ship that used to be a casino. And if such a deployment were to ever be launched, don't forget about satellites. Out of the 6,000 or so satellites orbiting around the world, 4,500 of them belong to the United States. Only 586 belong to China. The US military has been showing India every time the Chinese soldiers were trying to make an incursion at their border, allowing India to respond in kind. That's also how the Philippines know about what China is doing on their territory as well. Japan has more than doubled their military spending. They are now the top 3 military spenders on Earth. So any country trying to seize another country's land in this area would be easily spotted and most likely interrupted by a coordinated effort. Last but not least, China's trading relationship with the entirety of their neighbors would be severely damaged, and that would harm the Chinese economy. 8% of their imports come from South Korea, 7.5% from Japan, 5.7% from Australia, and the United States, 7.2%. The level of sanctions China would face with an already struggling economy would completely collapse them. Which is why I don't think China wants war or to do anything that's really aggressive. I think they just want to do business and have their own sphere of influence in this part of the world. I'm the Geo Husar, and I am on my way to the gym in 5 minutes. Thanks for watching.